Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. The show where I bring you champion people who have a knowledge to share, people who are here to help us with tips, with tools, with strategies to go to the next level of our greatness. And as you know, I try to find the right person to give you something that you're gonna be able to use in your business, or even in if you do philanthropic work, or even if your own life. But I try to bring somebody who's gonna bring something new to you, to help you to go to the next step, to help you to grow, to help you to step out of your comfort zone. So today we're going to Florida. We're going to the US, back to the US, and we're going to talk about some marketing, because my guest is a marketing expert. So we is going to talk to us about how to make sure that clients say yes to whatever we want to to sell to them, product, services. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him, but please make sure you have your pen, your paper, something to write on, because at the end of the day, those notes are going to be the basis. They're going to be the seeds that are going to help you to get and implement whatever is going to be shared today. So don't go anywhere. We're going to start this anticipated amazing conversation, and I hope that you're going to learn as much as you can. So let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
Like, what can I do now with this all experiences that that I have? And for me, it's knowing who I am, believing in myself, and trust, and have confidence that yes, this has happened.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
I was getting my first computer when I went into undergrad, right? And so I think that stick with what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about learning technology, you're in a great space, because technology touches every industry.
So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Vladimir, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here and to talk about a very important subject, because a lot of the audience is are entrepreneurs, so it's gonna be a good learning for them, good insight for them. But before we get to talk about our topic today, just want you to introduce yourself, let us know who you are, what you do, and any important thing that we need to know about you.
Certainly. Hello, Muriel. Thank you very much for allowing me and giving me the opportunity to be a guest on your show. I'm certainly looking forward to it. So, just a little bit at a high level about me. My name is Vladimir Adonis, as already being introduced. I was born in Haiti, and my mom and I migrated here to the States when I was about 8 years old. We had very humble beginning. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and that one-bedroom apartment had the seven of us. The living room was turned into a bedroom, and we had four beds, four twin beds in the living room, and three twin beds in the room itself.
Wow.
So seven people living in a very small and confined environment. And from that point on, I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to do the very best that I can to not repeat that cycle one day. The idea, with most families, right, is for you to do just that much better than your current situation and or your current environment. So I'm happy that I was able to work, out of that current situation, and I didn't repeat that exact same cycle. I'm very thankful and grateful for, my parents and my mom specifically for, everything that she's done for me. I'm currently based out of Florida, Boynton Beach, Florida. A fun fact about me is I love coconut water, and I like to be able to drink coconut water right from the coconut. So that's a little bit about me from a personal standpoint.
Okay, so we certainly welcome you, and your story is just amazing. And as you said, it's not where you started; it's about where you're going. And the important thing is not to repeat, because you learn from those difficult moments. You learn so much; it helps you to grow. So, I mean, you are a marketing expert, and today is really about talking about marketing and how, as entrepreneur, we can get, more clients and get clients to, to buy our services and our product. And one thing that I wanted to ask you is, what are the key things, to be able to not only attract, the right people, the right clients, but any strategy or tools that you feel like we need to have in our in our toolbox to be able to do that.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good question, Mia. And if it's okay, if I can give the audience a little bit of a backstory as to
Mm-hmm.
how I learned marketing and as to how I even embrace marketing altogether. I believe that backstories are important because we don't just wake up one day and say, hey, all of a sudden, this is what I'm doing. There's usually a journey, and my journey wasn't necessarily ideal. No journey is ideal. There's usually a journey that brings people to the point that they are at today. So if it's okay with you, I can go ahead and take about a minute and a half and just give the audience a bit of a backstory as to
Mm-hmm.
how I arrived to where I'm at today. Is that okay?
That's okay. That's perfectly okay.
Certainly. So, from a backstory standpoint, kind of like most people, I once worked a job and I worked as an executive for a small university. And I did that for about 12 years. But 5 years into that role, though, I said to myself, I don't see myself remaining in this job indefinitely. There wasn't anything wrong with the job. It was an amazing job and they paid me well. I just didn't see myself continuing down that path. So I had to answer a very important question. And that was, if I don't continue down that path, what am I going to do next? And the way that I answered that question is I said to myself, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to go into business. Now, that's pretty vague and that's pretty broad. And if you were to survey people that are currently employed, a good number of them say that they want to go into entrepreneurship. A good number of them say that they want to be a business owner. But at the same time, a good number of them never really actually take action and become a business owner. I knew that. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be that guy. So what I decided to do is I said I wanted to go into a business that's evergreen, in a business that's going to be around for a very long time. And back in 2015, the business model that made sense to me was the dating and dancing type of industry. I saw that the dating market was very viable and that it was going to be around for a very long time. So I decided to hire and pay a programmer close to $30,000 to build me a dating slash a dancing type of a website. And about a year and a half from the time that I paid this individual, I launched the site. And to my surprise, I had a hard time getting members. I had a hard time growing it. And because I paid $30,000 for that project, I had a lot of stake in it and I had a lot of skin in the game. So I wasn't just about to say, oh, well, this doesn't work out. Let me just move on and go do something else. So I went to work to learn how to do lead generation, marketing, Facebook ads, just so that project can work and just so that site could be viable. And about 7 months into that journey, the site started to pick up and things started to grow. But unfortunately, I learned that I was in violation of copywriting laws. And the reason why I was in violation of copywriting laws is because the members of that site had the ability to upload music and dance videos, etc. And because I don't have the right to any of that content, I was not required to keep it. I wasn't able to keep it, and I was going to be having some repercussions from a legal standpoint. So then I was forced to shut that site down. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? At this point, I spent close to $60,000, $70,000 on building the site, on marketing, on promoting. So I said, what am I going to do next? So what I decided to do next is that I noticed in my area that people were hosting meetups and they were hosting workshops based on topics and based on knowledge and or expertise. At that time, I had started learning lead generation and marketing. So I decided, let me go ahead and share what I had learned with other entrepreneurs for two reasons. Reason number one, I wondered if what I learned about my lead generation process for my dating site, if other businesses could benefit from it. And then reason number two, I thought maybe one day I could turn that into a business. So after hosting close to 60 workshops, validating my concept, validating my craft, and making sure that I knew what I was doing, I was able to use my knowledge and expertise to go into business full time. And today I help individuals to use their knowledge and expertise to create online coaching programs. And in addition to that, I help them with the marketing process as well. So that's my backstory, and that's how I've gotten to where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty amazing to realize that you had to fail hard before you could actually grow and expand and become an entrepreneur and have the sustainability that you were looking for, and now getting to a point where you are the one helping others. Because sometimes we think that going into entrepreneurship is going to solve all our problems. We're going to start and then everything will be rosy. We have no boss. We basically it's paradise, but it's not always the case. So it's good, I think, that you've been able to share this backstory so people understand it can be a very hard road, and people have to be ready. But it doesn't mean that when you fail, you have to stay down. You learn from it, and then from this challenge, you build something that will work. And that's really the lesson that I get from what you just said. And so now you help people, and you like you said, now you help so many businesses to use your program, to use your process. But tell us a little bit about this process. Is this something that's any business can use, or is it do you have to adapt to a certain industry, to a certain setting? How does it work?
Certainly. So the process that I developed, it's a four-step process, and I can go
Mm-hmm.
over those four steps. And it's called the micro commitment strategy. I believe, and I learned when I was running my dating site, that people who make a small commitment with you will eventually make a bigger commitment with you. So then, I call it a four-step micro commitment strategy and a four-step micro commitment process. And what I can do is I can go ahead and go through that four-step process. I'll go ahead and start off with step number one. And I'll go ahead and just give you a little bit of a backstory as to, why did I embrace this methodology and why did I embrace this process? Because there's a lot of different things that you can embrace from a lead generation and a marketing standpoint. When I was running my dating sites, one of the first places I tried to promote and market it was through Facebook. I wanted to pay Facebook so that Facebook can go ahead and show my dating site to as many people as possible. And back at that time, Facebook told me no, that they were not willing to promote or market my business. And the reason why is because it was a dating site and they were contractually obligated and they were only working with a handful of dating sites at the time. They were not allowed to work with any other dating sites. So then what I did is I decided to just go to a completely different platform so that I can promote and market my business. And as I was promoting and marketing my business, I was noticing that it was costing me about $20 to obtain a new lead. And at the time, from what I understand, that was a little bit high from a lead generation standpoint. So I continued down the path to continue to learn how to do lead generation and marketing. And I started to observe my very own behavior. What I noticed about myself is that it was very easy for me to give to brands, to companies, organizations, or other marketers my email address in exchange for tools, in exchange for resources, in exchange for guides. Not only was it easy for me to do that, in some cases, after I received tools and resources from some of those individuals, I found myself making higher commitments with them. I find myself spending money with them, and I find myself, from a commitment level, increasing the level of commitment. And when I started to join those programs, they were advising me to do the exact same thing as well. So I decided to listen. I went back to my dating site and I created two resources for my dating site. The first resource I created is I created a resource. If an individual want to connect with a male on a dance floor, I gave them a resource as to what to do to connect with a male on the dance floor. If an individual want to connect with a female on the dance floor, I gave them a resource as to what to do to connect with a female on the dance floor. And when I created those two resources, I went back to Facebook. I said to Facebook, hey, I have these two resources, these two guides, and I simply want to market and share them with your audience. And guess what happened this time around? This time around, Facebook told me yes. Not only did Facebook told me yes, in order to obtain and or acquire a new lead, it now cost me $2 to acquire a new lead. So I went from paying $20 to paying $2 because I led with something different. I no longer was trying to get people to my dating site. I was leading with a resource and or a guide. So, for you that's listening to this, the first step is to lead with value, is to lead with resources and to lead with guide, because people will say yes to that. If you have a free video and that video is going to show people three things they can do in order to get more conversions from their site, someone who is looking to get more conversions from their site will say yes to that. They'll give you their contact information, and then they will obtain that information. And in some cases, they'll go ahead and take you up on your next offer. So step number one is lead with value via creating resources and or guides.
Via
You're
creating
muted right now, so I
resources.
can't hear you.
So lead with value via creating resources.
Certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you want me to unpack that or if you want me to go directly to step number two, but I wanted to take a pause in the event that you wanted me to unpack that anyhow, or if you had any questions, or I can just go right next to, I can go right to step number two.
You can unpack, so then it's we know that it's about the step number one, and then we'll go to the step number two. So I mean, I think it's quite a simple step, and people understand that now. Back then it was very difficult. It's you need to give something before you get something else, and that's the lead with value via resources that you were talking about, if I get it right.
Yeah, people love resources. That's why people
Mm-hmm.
tune in to, podcasts like this. That's
Mm-hmm.
why, people, watch webinars. That's why people go. That's why YouTube exists, right? YouTube
Mm-hmm.
exists because of resources. If you think about how many how-to videos that are on YouTube and how much consumption
Mm-hmm.
happens on YouTube, and that's because it has been shown, it's been proven time and time again that people will go ahead and definitely consume information that is of value to them. And if they
Mm-hmm.
find value, they're more likely to say, okay, this person has helped me from a value standpoint. How
Mm-hmm.
can I take the next step with them? Now, granted, not every single person who takes you up on your free offer is going to ascend and take the next step with you via your paid offer, but some of them will. And the idea is to just continue with the process of um, getting new people to
Mm-hmm.
consume that free resource and that free guide, because the more new people you get to consume that free resource and that free guide, the more people you can take to the next step of your marketing process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know that a lot of people are hesitant to give things for free because they always have the feeling that, I mean, as soon as they start giving for free, that's all people are going to ask. They're going to ask for free. So it's good to remind them that, it will lead to something at some point. Not all the clients that the potential clients that you're going to give things for free are going to react, but you will have enough people that that's gonna react. And do you have an idea of the conversion rate? Because sometimes that helps as well, or is it something that we can't actually define?
You can definitely define it,
Mm-hmm.
certainly. So, from a resource standpoint, when you're giving away a free resource, you want to make it be a gated resource, meaning
Mm-hmm.
that you want to ask the prospective client
Mm-hmm.
for their email address in exchange for the free information.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, you can go on and you can just watch the information. But when we're running marketing, we're running what we call direct response marketing, meaning that we
Mm-hmm.
want someone to raise their hand and we want them to tell us, yes, I want this information. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if you've experienced this, but sometimes you may be on Facebook and someone may invite you to a webinar
Mm-hmm.
and someone may say, hey, I have a free video and a free resource, and here's the small problem it's going to help you to solve. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
second, you're looking to get more visibility via Instagram, but you don't know what to do. I have a 3-step process that I use to help people to get more visibility on Instagram. Simply go here, provide me with your email address, and I'll deliver that free resource to you. So
Mm-hmm.
that page in itself, you should aim to get between a 10 to 20% conversion rate on
Mm-hmm.
the first page. That's the first step of your marketing process.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then in terms of people taking the next step with you, between 2 to 6% of those individuals will be ready to get on a phone call with you if that's the next step of your marketing process. So 2 to 6% will be ready to take the next step with you, and the rest of them may just not be ready to take the first next step with you, right now. But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that a couple of months down the line, that they may not take the next step with you. So those are
Mm-hmm.
usually from a metric standpoint, and those are usually the numbers.
Oh, okay. So it's not too bad actually. It's actually good.
Yeah,
But
certainly.
I think you just have to sustain the effort because that's really what it is. So okay, so that's really good. So let's go to so what's step two?
Certainly. So step number two is you want to make sure that you are solving a problem, and you want to make sure you're marketing what is in it for the end user. When I worked at the university, I worked for a private university, and the private university was not the only university in town. We had a private university in town, and we also had a community college in town. When I first started working there, I could not understand why a student, in some cases, would pay 10 times more money to attend the private university compared to the state university. The longer
Mm-hmm.
I worked there, though, I started to study and understand their marketing problem, their marketing process, and they did a very good job of communicating the problem that they solved to the prospective client. Let me give you
Mm-hmm.
an example. If a student desired to go into the nursing program back when I was working there, the student had two options. They can go to the state college, and at the time, the state college had a waiting period of about 3 years. It would take the student 3 years to wait to get into the program. The
Wow.
university in which I worked at had a waiting period of about 6 months. So, in the university's marketing process, what did they talk about? They didn't talk about the fact that they've been around 400 years. They said that, hey, are you a prospective nursing student that's looking to get into the nursing program, and you want to get into the nursing program in the next 6 months? Not only get into the nursing program in the next 6 months, but also complete the program
Gum.
in half the time. And when they
Mm-hmm.
did that, people made that commitment with them, and people were willing to pay 10 times more money to attend the private university compared to the state college. So
Mm-hmm.
when I do marketing, even if I'm giving something away for free, I just think about what is in it for the end user. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking someone to make a micro commitment with me, why should they be making that micro commitment with me? Is it because I'm big and I'm bad to the bone? No one cares about that, right? It's what
Mm-hmm.
is my problem that I'm having right now? Oh, wait a second, you're only getting 5 appointments every single month, and you want to be able to get 20 to 30 appointments every single month. That's the problem that I'm going to help you to solve. And for
Mm-hmm.
that reason, you should take the next step with me, and you should make the micro commitment with me. So when
Mm-hmm.
you are creating any type of marketing assets, think about what is in it for the end user, and more specifically, what problem are you solving? If you're not solving a problem in your marketing process, you're not going to get people to say yes, and you're not going to get micro commitments.
Wow, and that's actually the essence of in a way of entrepreneurship is that if we are as entrepreneur we are here to solve problems and if we're not solving any problem it becomes very difficult to stay sustainable, and that's the challenge, I think, for a lot of us. And when we started, is that you look at it from a different point of view, where it's about you getting your freedom, and being passionate about something you do. Yes, you need that, but it's more about the potential client. What are you going to what solution are you going to bring to them, for them to really get to buy your product, get to pay for your service. And that's a key one. And how do you think, because when we don't really know that, how do you think we can get this information so that we get it right, we get the step two right?
Yeah, so the difference is between, so in business, I think about it uh, in three phases. I think
Mm-hmm.
about, for anytime you're creating a product, anytime you're creating a marketing, there's three things that you need to look at. You need to look at the person. So who
Mm-hmm.
is it you're marketing to? You need to look at the product. What is the name of the product? And you also need to look at the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as of lately, I've been creating different programs. If I'm creating a program and I'm saying, hey, the program, you create this program for people who are coaches and consultants. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
person, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
name of the program may be called the micro commitment program. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the product itself. But the third thing that I have to be able to answer is, I have to be able to answer, what is the transformation? What transformation will people experience as a result of going through this program, as a result of engage? Well, the
Mm-hmm.
transformation in that case is, they're going to be able to take their knowledge and their expertise to create a program that costs between $2,000 to $4,000. So that is the transformation. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
have a sellable product. You have a knowledge, you have an expertise. You don't necessarily know how to package it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily know how to take that and create something sustainable, something that you can market and promote. Well, via this program, we're going to show you how to do that. So that is the transformation. And the
Mm-hmm.
transformation is key. If you think
Mm-hmm.
about the transformation from a small standpoint, and also from a micro level and from a macro level, that is the difference maker in business, and that's the difference maker in marketing as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the transformation is really the key thing that you want to get right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's great. So we're really learning a lot today. I hope that when whoever is gonna watch the video, you're taking notes, and you're already thinking about getting back to Vladimir to have more and understand a little bit this process in detail. So we've done step two. What about step three?
All right, step three is visibility and traffic. So we all
Mm-hmm.
love visibility, we all love traffic. When I was working at the university, I observed their marketing process, and I observed the way that they were generating leads. What they did is, they worked with the lead generation company, and that lead generation company generated the leads for them. And when the lead generation company generated the lead for them, they sent the lead to a representative at the university, and the representative at the university would get on the phone and call the lead. The representative would say, hey, from what I understand, you requested more information and you
Mm-hmm.
inquired about attending our university. And the job of the representative was to educate the prospective student and to help the prospective student understand why that university is the best university and is the
Mm-hmm.
best fit for them based on what they're trying to accomplish. So then when I went out into the entrepreneurship world, and I started to learn how to do lead generation and marketing. So I tried to model something very similar. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can think about, there's a lot of service providers out there, third party service providers. So you have Upwork, you have Fiverr. And for these service providers, what happens is that what happens is that you have people who are looking for a service. They go to
Mm-hmm.
these service providers, and then the service provider match them with someone that's going to deliver the service.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in my journey, I decided to go to that service provider to say, hey, I have a skill set, and I know that you have people that are looking for this type of work. Can I just simply buy some leads from you? And then I can go ahead and communicate with these individuals in order that I can go ahead and provide the service, because the service provider, they're not in a position and or they're not in the business of delivering a service. They're just a third party that kind of just matches it. So I remember going to one of those places and I remember buying some leads and I started reaching out to these individuals. And at about the 15th phone call, it just didn't feel right to me. And it just wasn't connecting to me. And I don't know if it was just me at the time, but I found that I was trying to convince people that, hey, I'm the right fit. Here's why I'm the right fit. And here's why you should work with me. And after 15 of those calls, it didn't feel right. And I was like, there's got to be a different way. So the different way that I went about doing things is I said to myself, how can I have it so that people are coming to me and they're deciding on their own to schedule a time to speak with me. And when they schedule that time, they know that they're scheduling the time to speak with me. And I'm not necessarily explaining myself. They have an idea or that they understand what it is that I do. So my goal for visibility and for traffic is I want the traffic and the visibility that I get to have an idea as to what it is that I do. And I want them to be what I call inbound. I want them to be attractive based. And I want them to understand that, hey, you're going to be speaking with, with Vladimir, and I want them to have that pre-frame. So I went back and I reconstructed my marketing process whereby someone go through, they understand, who I am, and they decide that, based on who this individual is, because I just consumed some of his free resources, some of his free guide, I am making the choice. I'm making a decision to schedule a time on his calendar, and I'm going to speak with him. And when I changed that up, after my 10th phone call, two of those individuals decided to take me up on my offer and go and take the next step with me. So when I work with people and when I work with myself, my goal for my traffic and my visibility is for people to understand what it is that I do and have an idea. And I like the idea of inbound marketing versus outbound marketing.
So you're saying that it's always good to that people know you. They know at least what you do before you engage with them and push forward. Is it what you're saying?
Yeah, most certainly. Yeah, most certainly. Because otherwise, you're trying to explain to people your value, and you're trying to convince. I know you're going to do some explaining, right? But you're when they come in and they understand what it is that you do, and they know that they're scheduling the time with you, it changes the ball game. I prefer it more so of I call that inbound marketing versus an outbound marketing.
And it takes time, and I think that's why sometimes people want to skip this step, because it can take time, because you give, but it depends. It might not go straight away. You really have to be patient for the person, like you said, to get familiar with what you do, who you are, after one, two, or three freebies that you gave them. And then you start, the rapport is created, and then that's when the process starts. And a lot of people give up before that, because they're like, oh, it's too long. I've tried already. I've given like one free product. I'm not gonna give more. So and they miss out on on the next on a client to get the engagement and finally sell the service or sell the product. So that's an important, very important step to be aware of. So when you've done that, so you have the visibility, you have the traffic, what's next?
So the last and the final step, you've heard this before, right, is follow up. And I know follow up is probably not very sexy, but let me tell you why I embrace the concept of follow up. While working at the university, when I first started working at the university, they were a for-profit private university. And at that time, because they were a private for-profit university, from a state funding standpoint, they didn't have a lot of free funding from the state, and we didn't have as much money that we can pass on to our students. But at some point, the university became what we call private, not-for-profit. And when they became a not-for-profit university, from a free funding standpoint, they were eligible for a lot more free money from the state. And I remember when we got that grant and we got those approval, I was excited because that created what we call a win-win type of a situation for our students. Because
Mhm.
if we get more free money, we can pass it on to the students, and the students can take out a lot less money in student loans. And
Mhm.
one of the main stipulations that the state told us at the time is that we're going to grant you this free money, but you must use 100% of it. If you don't use
Mhm.
100% of it, then next year you're just not going to be eligible for the same amount of money. So
Mhm.
then I remember receiving the money and creating a process to reach out to the students who were eligible. And one of the first ways that we tried to reach out to our students is we reached out to them via email to say, "Hey, student, good news. We have, some free money that you are eligible for. All I need you to do is come down to the financial aid office, sign
Mhm.
this piece of paper, and in some cases, you'll receive thousands of dollars." And
Mhm.
when we did that, from a compliance standpoint, we didn't have a 100% compliance rate. So then
Mhm.
we had to go to phase two of the outreach process. And phase two was my team and I, we just simply got on the phone to contact these students and say, "Hey, student, free money, come down to the financial aid office, sign this piece of paper, and in some cases, you'll get thousands of dollars." Still not
Mhm.
100% compliant. So then we went to the third and the final step. And the third and the final step was us telling the professor that, "Hey, professor, if this student is not allowed to go into class until they come down and see the financial aid office, because they need to see the financial aid office." And for the
Mhm.
students who were online, in some cases we had to block some of those students. So I'm
Mhm.
saying all of this to say to you that even when I worked at the university and I was required to use up all of this money, in some cases I had to make five, six, not me personally, me and my team, five or six different outreaches in order to be
Mhm.
100% compliant. So
Mhm.
I know if I had to do that when it was time for me to give away free money, you also need to do that in your marketing process as well. So
Mhm.
today, when I create a marketing process, I always have contingencies at every step of the marketing process. You may say,
Mhm.
"What do I mean by contingencies?" Well, if someone sees my ad on Facebook and that ad invites them to go to a page to enter
Mhm.
their email address in exchange for something for free, if I get 100 people to go to that page, it is impossible for 100% of those people to provide me with
Mhm.
their contact information. So then, if I know that, right, that's just human nature, that's just how it is. So then I'm going to create a retargeting process to automatically retarget the people who didn't take me up on the offer the very first time. Human
Mhm.
nature says that 100% of them won't, right? And so then that's step number one. So then after someone takes me up on a free offer, the next step in my marketing process is that I may want them to get on a call with me.
Mhm.
And let's just say I have 20 people that takes me up on a free offer. Two of them decide to schedule a call with me. The other 18, that's an opportunity for me to remarket to those individuals and re-invite them to a phone call, right?
Mhm.
So the follow-up process in your marketing is key, and you want to
Mhm.
make sure that you have contingencies and what ifs at every step of the process. I
Mhm.
invited someone to take me up on a free call. They didn't take me up on a free call. Perfect. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. What's your follow up
Mhm.
process? What's your contingency plan? So in every step of your marketing process, have follow up and just have a contingency plan.
Wow, fantastic. So we have the full process now. So the first step is lead with value via resources. Step 2, what problem are you solving? And then step 3, the visibility and traffic, and the follow up, which is very, very important, that we often miss out, because as soon as we try one way and then it doesn't work, we just sometimes give up. And that's not what how it's supposed to be. We have to keep going, back to to be a little bit, get some diversity on how we reach out and how we follow up. So we're gonna have a small break, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more about marketing, and how to make sure clients say yes, or potential clients say yes when we market to them. So don't go anywhere. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back for our conversation.
Join former White House chef Marty Mangello as he brings to life colorful stories about America's presidents and first families that have occupied 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest.
Is when screaming guests are lit on fire inside the White House. So I know that everyone's thinking like, what did he just say?
It's time to be informed and entertained with Inside the President's Cabinet. Visit the website today at www.insidethepresidentscabinet.com.
So we are back. We are back with Vladimir, and we're talking about marketing and how we can get our potential client to say yes to our products and to our, services. And one question that I want to ask you, Vladimir, is you obviously been working with a lot of clients and using this process. And is the market matters, because we do a lot of things now online, so the market has become global. But do you think that those steps are working everywhere, or do you have to adjust them in certain market or with certain clients that are not based in the US, for example?
Yeah, certainly. That's a good question, and that's a good point. So this strategy works for an individual that provides a service. This is not necessarily product based, this is more service based. If you provide a service and that service that you provide solves a problem, it works, because this is based on human nature, per se, and it's not based on, country and or city specific. If people inside of your target market have ever consumed a 10 to 15 minute video, and that 10 or 15 minute video is going to give them some insights as to how something works, then this methodology and this process works. So for me, when I work with clients, I just simply help them to create a 15-minute video, and that 15-minute video solves a small problem. So let's just say if someone offers search engine optimization services, and the goal of the search engine optimization service is to help their clients to be found on the first page of Google. Well, let's just say that you're looking for more of those type of clients, and you want to lead with something free, you want to lead with resources. You can create a 10 to 15 minute video. That's it. And that 10 to 15 minute video is going to say, are you a local business owner that is looking to be found on the first page of Google? You know that there's people going on Google all of the time looking for what it is that you do, but the problem is that they can't find you. There's 3 reasons why they cannot find you. I'm going to give you some insight, and I'm going to share with you a video. That video is 15 minutes long. It's going to tell you the 3 things that you need to do in order to be found on the first page of Google. So someone who is looking for that type of service, who's looking to be found on the first page of Google, will go ahead and take you up on that offer, meaning that they will provide you with their email address in exchange for that information. Now, when you share that with them, right, they have one of 2 options. They can go and do the work by themselves, which in some cases they don't have the knowledge or experience or expertise, so they won't be able to execute on it in most cases. Or what's the next logical step is, by the way, I just told you some of the things you need to do and or consider. If you need help with this, my company can help you to do this, and I might be the right fit for you. And the best way for me to determine if you're the right fit for me is for us to schedule a time to talk. So why don't you schedule a time to talk with me, and that way I can um, share with you how you can implement this and how we can help you to implement this. So what I just did is I just walked you through a very simple marketing process for someone who offers a search engine optimization. The key word is service. That person offers that service, and that person can, if you offer a service, you should be able to talk about some insights for 10 to 15 minutes. And that's all you need, just to be able to share some insights for 10 to 15 minutes. Based on my knowledge and my expertise, I can share insights for 10 to 15 minutes on probably 20 different things, right? Based on my knowledge and expertise. So when I work with people, I say, you know what, just take one thing and just share 10 to 15-minute insight about that one thing and share with your audience. Are they going to be able to execute on it? Chances are no. But you've just given them some insight, and because you've given them some insight, you've positioned yourself as, okay, this person is credible. This person, has an idea and know what it is that they're doing, and I need the help. Otherwise, right, in most cases, I wouldn't have initiated the process if I didn't need the help. So let me consider taking the next step with that person. You know what? I might just go ahead and schedule that time and speak with Vladimir, because it sounds like he can help me to be found on the first page of Google. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and it's very simple. Actually, it's a simple process, but I think sometime with marketing and we have this fear of, we anticipate what the person is going to say. Sometimes it's so we anticipate that it's going to be no, we've not even tried. So it's good to know that, to really talk about those process like that, so that people understand that it's just a simple thing. Those are simple things that we need to do. We already have the knowledge anyway. It's just a matter of, putting it in the right format and reaching out. And that's really where we get stuck. I mean, I know that for a long time I got stuck to that. It's like, okay, are they gonna like it? Or do I need, to get the perfect video? Because that's also, all of those questions. And sometimes just, something simple, your phone, and then you talk about what you know, and you send. That's it. It's done. So it's quite funny how, the psychology is taking. It's working in our head. So I mean, you just, to because it's just I'm just passionate about all of this, and I wanted to ask you, what is the most difficult thing that, doing all of this, because you're dealing with so many people, so many different people. So what has been really the most difficult thing, and what have been really the, what you really like in doing all of this?
So yeah, so the most difficult thing from a client perspective sometimes is just imposter syndrome. And then, like you said, the whole, hey, create a 7 or 10 minute piece of content, and some people are just afraid to do it because they're not accustomed to do it. So what I do is I give them script, and I just give them step by step. In the first 2 minutes of the video, here's what you need to say. In the second 3 minutes, here's what you need to say. And the last 3 minutes, here's what you need to say. 7, 8 minutes, literally. So that can be something that keeps people back sometimes. It's just, getting on video, creating the content. So sometimes we say, hey, if you don't want to show your face on video, then just create the content without your face, and just your voice, because people connect with video. And if all else fails, I say, you know what, maybe you should just go ahead and just create it via regular content. But I usually encourage people to do video because video converts. I have had videos that I've done walking in my neighborhood, and as I'm walking in my neighborhood, it's trash pickup day. And because it's trash pickup day, I have a heavy truck that's literally driving behind me. Because as you know, if you think about like my community, if you think about like my house, the truck comes, pick up the trash, and then they go to the next house. So they're moving very slow. I'm moving slow because I'm walking. I've created videos like that because you don't know when a trash company is going to come. So you start your video, you walk outside, you start your video, and you're recording. and all of a sudden the truck comes and the truck is making a lot of noise. I'm like, oh man, I got to speak loud. I got to make this work. I've literally created videos like that, and I've published those videos on Facebook to do ads, and I've gotten people that's taking me up on the next offer. Noisy and all, they can barely hear me, but the content and the information is in it that's in it resonates, right? And because that information resonates, they take the next step with me. So sometimes I share those type of things with my clients and say, hey, you see this video here where there is a not so good looking garbage truck that's driving, that's riding behind me, and that's pretty noisy. And you see this video and how people have given me their contact information and taken the next step with me. So if I can create a video in that type of environment and get people to take the next step, then you definitely can do it as well. At the end of the day, it's all about beliefs.
Yeah.
All of us buy into something. We buy into some type of belief, and that belief is based on our experiences. When my mom first came here to the States, the first belief that she bought into and her family bought into was that if you come to America, life is going to be amazing and you're going to have all of the opportunities in the world. Her family was celebrating the minute they found out that she was going to be coming here to the state because it meant hope. It meant that now they can reach out to someone, and from a resource standpoint, they will be able to have a little bit more resources. So when I first came here to the States, to America at the age of 8, I was told that this was the land of opportunity. And when I first got here, based on our living condition, I started to see that there were people who were homeless. And I started to see some things that I saw in Haiti as well. And I started to say to myself, wait a second, this is the land of opportunity, but you have to go out and you have to go work for the opportunity. The opportunity is not going to just, happen. So then, I remember when the mindset for my mom started to shift, and she started to try and communicate that information back to the people at home to say, yes, this is a great country, a great opportunity, but I don't have the resources that I thought I was going to have just by landing here, in the States. So, some people are confined by that. Some people, because of that environment, they they go through life with the mindset of, okay, I didn't have much growing up. This is all that I was afforded. So this is all there is to life. This is all there is to the world. I can only work my way up to, having a 2-bedroom apartment, having a job that just pays me $35,000 a year. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? That's an amazing thing. But for some people, the reason why they reach that level is because of a belief. So the same thing is true when we are trying to encourage people that something may work better than what it is that they're already doing. Their beliefs sometimes don't allow them to believe that it is indeed possible. And most of the time, it's because of their experiences. They may have experienced something that they may have tried something once or twice and it didn't work. So from that point on, they say to themselves, you know what, that doesn't work. My first experience from a dating site standpoint, my dating site didn't work. So I could have said to myself, you know what, business doesn't work, dating sites don't work, but that would not be true. Dating sites are very, very profitable from a financial standpoint. So it does work. I just had the wrong model. There's businesses that's making $100,000 a day. So it is possible. I just haven't discovered all of the right models and I don't have the right things in place. So I think there's two different ways to kind of just approach things. And it all boils down to people's level of beliefs.
And I like that, like you said, it's really the belief that you have to believe in yourself, believe that you can do it, and not limit yourself to the current condition, because otherwise, there's no point basically to try, because you don't believe that you can get anywhere. And especially now with what's going on, and all the difficulty that people have with the pandemic. People think that that's it, they can't, they can't get over it, but the belief has to come, and it's important to get this this message out. We have some comment here. We have Sean. We must keep going and be persistent in whatever we want to do. Yes, we can't, we can't give up. And yeah, and I like that. I like that. It's the belief we have to keep pushing, and sometimes we can't do it on our own. We need coaches. We need people to help us. And I think that's where people like you come in, especially when we are in business and we want to sell things and we can't go through. Sometimes you just have to know to talk to a specialist or to somebody who know exactly what are the steps to take and move forward, because like you said, they will they were gonna try, and then they're just gonna realize that they can't do anything and they will give up. So it's better to go to somebody who've done it before and get to work with them. That's the very important thing. So it's been a very, very good conversation. We've learned a lot today, and I encourage whoever is here. So Sean, please get to watch the first part of the show, and to really get in contact with Vladimir, and try to learn a little bit more. Obviously, in 45 minutes and 1 hour, it's impossible to talk about marketing. So you get already the 4 steps. So if you want to get more, it's important to just connect with him, so that have a call with him, so that you understand where he can help you, and how you can move forward, if that's what you're looking for. So before we leave, we leave the platform. Any particular message that you want to leave to the audience today, and especially it's the weekend, so that they can reflect on it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So I just want to make sure that I was conscious about the pronunciation of your name. I know you told me before the show the pronunciation. So
Mireille.
it's
It's
Mireille.
Mireille. And you will
Mireille.
know,
Okay.
because I know that you have people in your family who speak French, so
Yes.
Mireille.
No problem, Mireille. I
Hmm.
appreciate you. And thank you for just giving me the opportunity to be on this show, essentially. And I guess the thing that I want to leave people with is anything that's worth having is definitely going to have a certain level of challenge.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship is not made for, is not meant to be easy, because if it
Hmm.
was meant to be easy, then everyone would be doing it. I
Hmm.
remember spending close to $80,000 on my first project, and I made zero money. I didn't make any money at all for my first business. In fact, when I went into my next business, I didn't make a sale for 17 months, and all of which because I was trying to, do it on my own, and I didn't necessarily know what I didn't know per se. So I would say it's definitely worth staying the course. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I'm going to mirror what Millet just said is there's other individuals out there from a resource standpoint that can help to fast track some of that success for you. So although I'm going to say keep going, entrepreneurship is not supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be easy. But at that same time, from a shortcut standpoint, you can definitely shortcut your success by leaning in and connecting to the right resources and connecting to the right individuals.
Fantastic. So how can people connect with you if they want to follow up this conversation? And also, is there anything coming up? I know there's you have a group, and there's always a lot of things happening. So is there anything, a course, a webinar, or something that the audience needs to be aware of at this point in time?
Sure, yeah, thank you. So certainly, so in order people can connect with me a couple of different ways. If you would like to have what I call an implementation call, an implementation call simply gives us an opportunity to digest and review your current marketing process and to see what gaps you may have from an optimization standpoint. I'll leave a link somewhere via this page that's going to
Mm-hmm.
allow you to go ahead and schedule a time using
Mm-hmm.
my calendar. The other way that we can connect is you can join my group. I have a free Facebook group. that's called Black Creators Connect, where we share resources and information that is designed to help you from a business growth standpoint and also from a personal growth standpoint. And Mireille, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity and for allowing me the ability to share what it is that I know with your audience.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time. It's been very insightful. And, the audience, they are entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, small business owners. So I think it's really valuable for them to have this introduction, because I call it an introduction, and hopefully they will get to you to get the all the stuff, the big part of the that can help them. So make sure you get the link, and make sure you go into you connect with the group, and connect with Vladimir to understand how he can help you go to the next level of your greatness with your business and with your marketing. So that's all for today for us. I will be back next week for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And I hope to see you then. And thank you again, Vladimir, for your time and for sharing all those information, and letting us know your expertise and experience in marketing. And I see that Sean really, understand that. She's asking, are you in the U.S.? Yes, he is in the U.S., and it is in your state. He's in Florida, so you can connect with him and see how it can help you in your business. So that's all I can do. So make sure you connect with him. He's in Florida, just like you. So thank you so much. And for the audience, see you soon. And Vladimir, obviously, we are connected now, so I'll get to connect further. I think I'm in your group, so I'll make an effort to participate a little bit more, and also share my knowledge. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.